You keep talking about the institutional gains you make by playing all these games. Did you see a payoff from that? Another close game and
Yeah,
sort of.
without a doubt, I just think the level of communication, level of calm, level of competition in those moments of truth. It's not like it's shocking us or putting us in any kind of anxiety. It's just this is our norm, that these games are going to be like this. So you got to grind, you got to fight every single possession, and then you get down to these last 3 or 4 minutes. You have to put your imprint on the game, and I think that's the biggest thing, to develop a trust, a deep trust in what you're trying to do, and gaining confidence. It doesn't mean you're going to win all the games, but you just have to go through the fire together, and that's what's happened really for, it seems like, several weeks. It just feels like every single one of these games are going down to the last possession. And it allows us also to work on late game situations constantly. Our late game package, regardless of who's in, who's out, we can get organized and have it be coherent, make or miss. And defensively, guys have been stepping up and making big plays. But down the stretch, obviously there's a lot of guys putting their fingerprints on it on either side of the floor. Bam was Mr. Reliable. He has been Mr. Reliable all season long, through all of the adversity. He's the guy that we've just been able to count on with his mental stability, his consistency, his leadership, and then also his play on both ends of the court. Caleb just stacked another phenomenal winning game, on this tonight, and I thought it was fitting that he had the free throws and then the stop at the end. He does so many things for our team, regardless of what defensive scheme we're in. He's so critical. He and Bam, to making it look good. Kyle had some big plays down the stretch, and then Tyler hit the big three. Even though his shots didn't necessarily go down, I think they were the right looks in the second half, and that big three was a big one. And then obviously Bam was just, like I said, just terrific the entire game, and then sealed it, in those moments at the end.
Not only Bam's 38 points, but what stood out about the way he generated the 22 shots, with 21 of them coming inside the paint?
Yeah, but there's just an assertiveness that we've been working on, and he's been working on, and that just takes a lot of game reps. I thought everything just happened with a great flow. It wasn't like he was going out of his way to try to get up 23 shot attempts or to try to score close to 40. It wasn't that way at all. It was, where he was at his best is it's pick and rolls. It's some post ups at times. It's some random drives. It's some bringing the ball up the court and driving by a defender when the defense isn't set. It's an offensive rebound here. It's a dish there. He's just getting it in a lot of different aspects where you can't necessarily scout it. And that was the epitome of it tonight. But he had a lot on his shoulders, really the last several games, with a lot of different lineups and everything. You need that stability, from your leaders. And, I think at some point I'll print up these shirts, Mr. Reliable, and I'll wear them proudly.
And the pick and roll game that Tyler had going with him. I mean, we've seen that chemistry before, but just the way it flowed with that, it wasn't a scoring night for Tyler, but double-digit assists, and especially the way he worked in concert with Bam.
Really good. That's something they've been developing, obviously, for a while. It's our most efficient two-man action that we have right now, but now we're starting to see some different coverages. So they trapped Tyler in some different areas. He's getting better at getting that ball back to Bam. It's a big emphasis for all of our guys to get the ball to Bam, because he can do a lot of things in the paint. He puts pressure on the rim to score. He can draw fouls, but he's also a great spray guy that can get open shots for other guys. But it takes a lot of drilling, a lot of film watching, a lot of work together to be able to find different ways to get the ball back to him. The very first play of the game was a two-man action with the two of them, and it ended up being a lob to Bam. Tyler got him on some pocket passes, and then they'll continue to get better as they see more coverages, switches, blitzes, zone coverages, drops, all of those things. They're going to see all of it because teams will try to take them out of their rhythm and flow, and just hopefully it'll continue to get better.
Staying on Bam for a second, across all those different offensive scenarios that you were touching on, how has he improved over the last few years, specifically going up against length like Porzingis?
He's really developing a go-to shot. Now, you also, there's a couple of different layers to that because he's really getting aggressive on those pick-and-roll pocket pass in traffic plays that he can get all the way to the rim, and it's hard not to foul him. He's also really improved his finishing when it's not a dunk. Secondly, he's developing that go-to shot where you just have this feeling now when he's getting in the paint in the circle, whether he's going right or left against length, you feel like that shot is going in every single time. Now, it's not every time, but you just get a sense when players get to that level where you feel like, oh, that's going in. Like, all the great players get to that point. And that's a great look for him. And that's right in that in-between game. So it's not like a 17-foot shot. It's an aggressive, assertive elevation, and he can get it off against bigger guys. And he missed a couple of them with Porzingis, but they were, like, soft. They're floating around the rim. And again, like if you really lean on him and trying to take that one away, he's just getting so much better at drawing fouls, similar to the way Jimmy does if you're getting too aggressive with him in the paint.
Just with that shot you mentioned, is it unusual these days for a big guy to be able to shoot what's still kind of a jumper in that in-between zone?
I think it's just amazing when he does that, when he really elevates. When he gets off the floor and his release point is now over 7 feet. I think that's his best version of that pull-up. And there's an area of the floor where he's just extremely efficient.
It seemed like one of the switching points this game in the third quarter was going away from zone for a little bit there and did a good job creating a run, I guess, and switching and drop when Dedmon came in. Just what did you think of, it was specifically with the bench unit, but what did you think of those minutes that kind of created that run?
They're really good. And there have been a lot of moving parts, but our second unit has been getting more comfortable. They've been giving us really good minutes where they've been able to either get us back into the game or extend leads. And that's definitely something, we look to build on. And this is unique also that we play a team 3 times in 8 days where they've seen the zone over and over and over. And then 60-plus possessions, any team will get into a good rhythm on that. So going down the stretch, it just felt different than it did in the previous game where we felt like we had to make it a little bit more conventional. Although the man, is not totally conventional when we have the right guys that can switch. Okay, thank you.